Namaskar, good evening. You're watching the Newshour at 9 and I'm Swati Joshi. The battle lines are drawn and the bugle has been sounded. 2024 elections is likely to be a Modi versus Rahul Gandhi high voltage war. Let's tell you how the road is being paved for Rahul's return. Today, the Supreme Court has put a stay on his conviction by the trial court for Modi's surname remarks. The court observed that the trial court has not cited any reasons to give Rahul Gandhi the maximum punishment. It also expressed concern that the constituents of I.N.D.I.A have been left unrepresented in the parliament till a final order comes. Now, the court, however, has wrapped Rahul, saying that a person in public life should know that his distasteful words can have wide ramifications. But remember, the conviction has been stayed pending the final adjudication in the matter. So the next step for Rahul will be to appeal to the Speaker to revoke his disqualification from Parliament. And once that happens, he can return to the Southern. Celebrations have already begun in the Congress camp, calling it a victory of truth and democracy.
सच्चाई की वो आवाज, निर्भीक निडर वो आवाज श्री राहुल गांधी की फिर सुनाई देगी।
राहुल गांधी जी की यह जीत सत्य की जीत है, साजिश के खिलाफ, और ये सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी के खिलाफ आंधी बनकर उतरेंगे।
संविधान की जीत हो गई, सत्य में वो जयते।
आज नहीं तो कल, कल नहीं तो परसों सच्चाई की जीत होती है।
Well, there you heard it. For the Congress, the Supreme Court has upheld truth and democracy by staying Rahul's sentence. But are they selectively quoting the court? Let's get the Congress a fact check. Now remember, Rahul Gandhi says he won't apologize and that he is not Savarkar. What did the Supreme Court say today? The Supreme Court said utterance not in good taste and ramifications are wide. Ought to be more careful while during public speech. Rahul Gandhi also says that truth has won today. While the Supreme Court, while giving the judgment and staying the conviction, said, today we are not going into the merits of the matter. Rahul Gandhi says democracy has won, and the Supreme Court has taken into consideration the fact that it not just impacts the individual, which is Rahul Gandhi, but also the electorate who voted him to power. Meanwhile, the BJP says that if Rahul wasn't so adamant and arrogant and had apologized to the lower court, he would have gotten relief much earlier.
नहीं, ठीक है, वो किसी कारण से इसको गुड मान सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर आप देखो तो ये उनके ऊपर कहीं ना कहीं सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी स्वीकार किया ही है कि उन्होंने गलती की है। और जो जिस प्रकार से आपने देखा ही कि लगातार प्रधानमंत्री जी को अपमानित करने का इन्होंने जो काम किया, उनके लिए अनर्गल जो बयानबाजी किया, 2019 के चुनाव के पहले जिस प्रकार से बगैर तथ्यों के उनको चोर कहा, और मैं समझता हूं कि भारत के पवित्र लोकतंत्र में इस प्रकार का कोई बड़ा नेता है जिस प्रकार का आचरण करता है तो उसको बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जा सकता। और भले ही न्यायालय से इन्हें कुछ राहत यहाँ के ऊपर मिल गई हो, लेकिन लोकतंत्र में सबसे बड़ा न्यायालय जनता का होता है और 2024 के चुनाव में जनता इसको जरूर जवाब देगी।
बहुत अच्छी बात है, अगर ये स्टे उनका हुआ है तो उनका स्वागत है और बड़ा आनंद आएगा उनके साथ दोबारा। जब भी वो रहते हैं तो बड़ा ऊर्जावान माहौल रहता है, उससे अच्छा रहेगा, मजा आएगा। तर्क वितर्क विपक्ष मजबूत होना बहुत जरूरी है।
निर्णय की वास्तविक समीक्षा क्या है अभी हम थोड़ी देर में करेंगे, लेकिन दो बातें तो स्पष्ट है ना कि राहुल गांधी जी, इस देश में लोकतंत्र है, इस देश के लोकतंत्र को आप दागदार मत बनाइए विदेशों में जाकर के। और दूसरी बात कि अगर ये क्षमा आप शुरू में ही मांग लिए तो लोअर कोर्ट में, तो तभी क्षमा हो गया होता। आपने क्षमा कब मांगा? सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाके।
So the Congress says that this is a victory of democracy, victory of truth, and the BJP says, you know, the biggest court in democracy, in fact, is the People's Court. And this brings us to the legitimate question. Will the final battle be in Janata's court? Let's open this up and go across to our questions.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Tonight we're joined by Shehzad Poonawala, national spokesperson of the BJP. We have Dr. Anand Ranganathan, an author, on the panel. Columnist Suhail Seth is also part of the panel. We have Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst, with us. Biswajit Deb, spokesperson of the TMC and senior advocate, joins us as well. And we have Salim Dharanidharan, spokesperson of the DMK, along with Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate. Good evening to all of you. My first question is to you, Mr. Dharanidharan. Can this really be seen as vindication and victory when the court has made it very clear while giving the verdict that we are not going into the merits of the case? As far as the utterance is concerned, no doubt the utterance was in bad taste, and an individual in public life should be more careful.
I think you're picking and choosing from the verdict. I think a government, an institution, should work same for all. It should be transparent. The case in point here is O.P. Ravindranath. He was suspended by High Court of Madras, and he was given 30 days time. He was still attending the parliament. He was not told to vacate his house. Compare that with Rahul Gandhi. Immediately after the verdict, he was suspended from the parliament. He was told to leave his house. So how is it fair? Has it happened to any other parliamentarian? None. Why was Rahul Gandhi treated in this manner? Was simply because he was raising the Adani issue, and BJP was paranoid and they wanted to save Adani. And in fact, they went to an extent of not even mentioning Adani in the parliamentary proceedings. It would, the government, which wanted to protect Adani, has failed to protect the people of Manipur. And I think this verdict has clearly given us the momentum for the Team India. And Rahul Gandhi will enter the parliament, and as our leader says, he will raise the voice for the people of India as well as for people of Manipur.
Yes, you're talking about his disqualification. You're leveling allegations against the BJP, against the government. We will take reactions on that. But my question was about the Supreme Court's observations. My question was about the Supreme Court saying that we are not going into the merits of the case. And as far as the utterance is concerned, the court asked Rahul Gandhi to be more careful.
Has there been a precedent in 162 years of Indian judiciary that anyone has been given 2 years for a simple, bailable offence? None. The first time the case leaves Gujarat, and then Rahul Gandhi stands vindicated. You, again, as I said, you're picking and choosing. Even one Supreme Court justice said the remarks made, that 150 or 200-page remarks made in the High Court on Rahul Gandhi's verdict, or the Sessions Court on Rahul Gandhi's verdict, is clearly interesting, and he stopped short of saying it's laughable. So I think that whole verdict one is itself was not clear.
Okay, let me also bring in Biswajit Deb, spokesperson of the TMC and senior advocate. Mr. Deb, Mamata Banerjee has said this is the victory of the judiciary. On January 18th, 2023, Mamata Banerjee said about the centre that this planning by the centre has been going on for a long time. Already we have seen that whatever names are being sent by the Calcutta High Court, if some judge favours the central government or is in their support, that name is cleared within a month, and those who aren't their supporters, their list is pending for 3 years, alleging that there's interference on part of the government in the judiciary. But today that the decision has come in favour of Rahul Gandhi in terms of staying the conviction, this becomes a victory of the judiciary?
Well, our leader Mamata Banerjee has welcomed this verdict, and she has said that this will strengthen the resolve of India alliance to save our motherland, to save the constitution, and to save the democracy. You see, whatever has happened in the lower courts, whatever we have seen, and that has been reflected by the order which has been passed today by the Honorable Supreme Court. You see, the Honorable Supreme Court has categorically said that the order passed by the lower court was not at all a reasoned order. While you convict a person for 2 years in a defamation matter, the order must be explained, well explained, and it must be a reasoned order.
Okay.
This order was not at all a reasoned order. And the lower court has failed to assign appropriate reasons for giving him a sentence of 2 years. Never in the history of Indian judiciary, in a defamation case, somebody has been convicted for 2 years. It indicates the vindictiveness of the complainant and of the lower court to somehow get Rahul Gandhi out of parliament for the next 8 years.
Okay.
That was the intention.
You're saying vindictive act. You're saying what happened to Rahul Gandhi was unprecedented. Nobody has been sentenced for 2 years. Yes. The manner in which Rahul Gandhi was treated, Shehzad Poonawala, your time to rebut. Now, the manner in he was treated was unfair. Immediately, he was disqualified. Will the government now and the speaker take immediate measures, show the same alacrity and reinstate him?
I did not interrupt anybody, and I hope nobody will interrupt me. Just now, the last speaker has said it shows the vindictiveness of the lower court to get Rahul Gandhi out of parliament. This is a direct assault on the judiciary. This is quote unquote what he said. Anyway, he has been convicted by multiple levels of...
Mr. Dev, did you mean vindictiveness of the court?
He has said it. No, 1 second, Swati. Please ask a producer to play back.
Okay.
I am never wrong on facts.
Okay.
I am never wrong on facts. I heard him. He said this. Now it is my turn to complete. After that, he can come in, first of all. Secondly, multiple levels of court, including a high court, upheld the verdict of the lower court. Thirdly, today is not a overturning of the conviction. It is a stay on conviction. That means the final adjudication still needs to be happening. And by the way, I am very happy today for 2 reasons. One, कि today just like EVM की बहाली हो गई कर्नाटका चुनाव के बाद और EVM के खिलाफ पेटिशन डालने वाले भी EVM को गले से लगाने लगे कर्नाटका चुनाव के बाद, आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी बच गया. वरना till yesterday these people were saying that Supreme Court judges are a puppet in the hands of the BJP government. Mr. Gehlot says that judiciary is under pressure. Today everybody is saying judiciary ठीक है जी. So Supreme Court has also been given vindication and EVMs have also been given vindication. So that is a very big thing for us. But if they are going with the Supreme Court observation or Supreme Court stay on conviction today, do they agree with the Supreme Court verdict on Rafale, on Supreme Court verdict on Pegasus, on triple talaq, when Supreme Court said that ED is not being misused, and the Supreme Court verdict on Ram Mandir? And let me complete, just 10 more seconds, 10-15 more seconds. Let me also talk about the disqualification. Manyavar, Kapil Sibal himself is on record to say that when the Lily Thomas judgment has taken place, after that, immediately the next millisecond after your conviction, you are disqualified. This is Kapil Sibal on record to a reporter who used to work with Times Now. Now she's on another channel. Kapil Sibal, who was there in the Lily Thomas case. And lastly, I would like to only say one thing, that today the allegation made against the court is very, very objectionable. Our lower courts and all courts in Gujarat compromise. Is that the allegation? And as far as Adani is concerned, Times Now report, Karnataka minister says Adani's investments are welcome.
No, let me ask you a counter question.
Last 5 seconds. Adani's investments are welcome. Karnataka minister says this. Rajasthan government accepts 1.68 lakh crore investments by Adani.
Exposing the hypocrisy,
Adani is also present in Punjab, in Rajasthan, in Bengal.
Let's come back to the topic. Now, the opposition is questioning the verdict given by the lower courts. Today, the top court, Shehzad Poonawala, said, when the offence is non-cognizable, bailable and compoundable, the judge was expected to give some reasons as why he found it necessary to impose maximum sentence of 2 years, though the appellate court and the high court have spent voluminous pages while rejecting the stay of conviction. These aspects cannot be considered in their order. The court says there was no explanation provided. No reasons.
The court also said, and the same justice you're quoting said, that none of the utterances made in court will have any bearing on the merits of the case which is in trial. Point number one. Point number two, the same judge also said, no doubt that the utterances are not in good taste and a person in public life expected to exercise caution while making public speeches. And Rahul Gandhi is a serial offender. What has he said about RSS, for which he has to go back in the Bhiwandi court? What has he said about Veer Savarkarji, on which Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar have taken cognizance, and he is facing a case by Savarkar family? What has he said about the armed forces, Khoon ki dalali? What has he said about
going by how the court asked him to be more careful? He's been careless in a lot of cases. There are a lot of defamation cases filed against.
Just one second.
I want to go
just
one last point.
Just last one.
One last point. Please.
Just last point. It'll take only 5 seconds.
Let me go.
It'll take only 5 seconds. There are 1 versus 4. It is also 1 versus 4. I'll finish in 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Just tell me that.
जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पीट रहे हैं. जो हमारे जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में.
No, this is not carelessness. This is sinister.
Okay, all right. Now let me bring in Tehseen Poonawala. Tehseen Poonawala, are lower courts not part of the judiciary? Because when the lower courts give a verdict against Rahul Gandhi, Mr. D.K. Shivakumar says democracy has been murdered. And today that the Supreme Court has stayed conviction, everybody is hailing the judiciary. Democracy has won.
Thank you so much, Swati, and I hope I get the same time to rebut the number of lies told on national TV. Lies. Attack, misguide, misrepresent, bhatkao, bhadkao. That is what the Bharat Jalao party or BJP does. Now let's answer each one of this. Surely, the lower courts, you can disagree with them, which is why we have higher courts of law. Sanjay Hegde, they're esteemed lawyers. You can disagree, that's your constitutional right. Now, the same Honorable Apex Court of India said in a written judgment, not oral, that the then Gujarat Chief Minister was fiddling his thumb like Nero while Gujarat was burning. It was a written judgment. They transferred Best Bakery cases out of Gujarat, saying no justice can be done there. Ultimately got a clean chit. So it happened, right? Same Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat was calling names to Election Commission of India. Nobody attacked the Gujarat Chief Minister. What names he told James Lindo? Just read the Times of India report. I don't want to get into all of this. We're talking about an attitude of partisanship. When Mohammad Faisal, the Lakshadweep MP, was reinstated as MP, how long did it take the Speaker to reinstate him as MP? If this is an automatic process, as per Lily Thompson, why didn't you reinstate? You did do it till Times Now carried it forward. Allow me to finish. Ghulam Nabi Azad, for whom the Prime Minister cried, he didn't cry for Manipur, he cried for Ghulam Nabi Azad. Till today, Swati has not lost his bungalow. Till this moment has not lost his bungalow. What constitutional post does Ghulam Nabi Azad has? Now let's come to the multiple cases and address that point. The BJP spokesperson, very worthy BJP spokesperson, said multiple cases on Rahul Gandhi, but conviction in none. And all these cases are filed by friends of BJP, which itself shows malafide, And the fact that the BJP spokesperson did not answer is one last thing. In the 160 years of criminal defamation, show me another case, show me a case in independent India where somebody's got maximum punishment. The fact is that Rahul Gandhi made the Honorable Prime Minister very uncomfortable, and I want to end by this one last line. I hope that the Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of India, the Lok Sabha, will allow Shri Rahul Gandhi ji back on Monday. I hope the Honorable Prime Minister comes. Shri Rahul Gandhi is allowed to speak on Manipur because he went to Manipur, and the Honorable Prime Minister answers Shri Rahul Gandhi. That is what the people of India want. We can disagree, but he's our Prime Minister. Let him answer Shri Rahul Gandhi. So hope Om Birla is not going to be a BJP Karyakarta. I don't believe he's. I believe he's a speaker, and he acts like the Speaker of the House and allows Shri Rahul Gandhi on Monday.
Okay, shouldn't the same alacrity be shown to Rahul Gandhi now in reinstating him, Dr. Anand Ranganathan? Along with that, I just want to mention one more thing. In August 2018, Rahul Gandhi alleged that the judiciary, the Election Commission and the Reserve Bank of India were being torn apart under the centre's rule. And today, truth has come out. Today, truth has won. Democracy has won through that very same judiciary.
Good evening, Swati. I don't know what this hullabaloo is all about. And I'm sorry that I find you completely wrong. It is not the Congress that is celebrating. It is the BJP. Exactly. Those guys are dancing in the aisles. Their star campaigner is back on the road again. What are you talking about, Swati? If in the last 3 months, the BJP had predicted it's going to win 250 seats in the next elections. Now they're Shahzad. He's confident of 350 seats now. So there we go. What is the controversy about? No, but to be very honest, there are 2 points here. Number one, as far as this verdict is concerned, of the Supreme Court, for Congress saying that it is a victory of democracy, it is, as Shahzad correctly pointed out, technically, the Supreme Court has not overturned the lower court verdict. The Supreme Court has stayed it. Number two, it has stayed it for a reason that the judge in the lower court did not explain why it is the sentence is to be carried for the maximum applicable sentence of 2 years. That is what the Supreme Court said, because Supreme Court said that because of that maximum sentence being carried, he was disqualified by the parliament. If it was a day less than 2 years, he would not have been. So, I mean, to be honest with you, the Supreme Court has asked a legitimate question to the lower court, and I'm surprised why the lower court did not answer it. Number two, as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, when he said, I will not apologize, I'm not a Savarkar, there's really dastardly statement. Is it not a fact? I asked Tehseen and other spokespersons out here, people out here, did he not apologize to Supreme Court in the Chaukidar Chor Hai judgment when Supreme Court asked him to? Rahul Gandhi apologized. So I don't know whether he's Savarkar, but he's too little to be like Veer Savarkar. But the fact of the matter is he is again a hypocrite and a liar. Number three, finally, I have already said from the day this verdict or conviction was announced that it's a very thin case, and Tehseen is here, Shahzad is here. It's a very thin case, Swati, against Rahul Gandhi. Principally for the reason that there is ample evidence, and have Mr. Sanjay Hegde, who's a lawyer, 2006 Vardarajan versus State Madras High Court judgment. judgment, then again ratified by 2018 Andhra High Court judgment, that group defamation is not valid if an individual has not been defamed. To give you an example, if I were to say that the Poonawallas make horrendous idlis that are as hard as pavement stone, they can't sue me. But if I say Tehseen makes horrible idlis and he's unfit to cook anything, Tehseen can sue me. So individually, Narendra Modi could have sued, Nirav Modi could have sued Rahul Gandhi, but group defamation is not valid. And trust me, later on, maybe a year later or whenever people analyze this court judgment or it goes to the higher court, High Court or Supreme Court, these are the two High Court judgments they're going to court, Madras High Court 2006 and Andhra High Court 2018. So the fact remains, the verdict has not been overturned. Rahul Gandhi is still convicted. The conviction has been stayed. I don't know why the Congress is celebrating. The BJP should be celebrating.
Okay, Mr. Hegde, is everybody interpreting the judgment according to, how it favors them and benefits them, while some say truth has won, democracy has won, and, this is a clean sheet. Others are citing how the final adjudication is pending.
Well, the final adjudication is pending, no doubt, because from the magistrate's court, it is pending now in the sessions court. That's on merits. The Supreme Court was very careful. It said we are not going into the merits of the case. The only question is that you did not get a stay of the conviction. So that stay had been denied by the sessions as well as the High Court, and it has come up in appeal to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that this is a case where a stay of conviction has to be granted for the reasons that it has cited. The Supreme Court also said, the 125-page long judgment makes very interesting reading. Some of the judgments coming from the Solicitor General of State makes very interesting reading. It has given its own mind about what possibly has happened. This is where the defamation law has been weaponized. And Anand Ranganathan is correct, where it said it's on very thin ground. I do like that idli example of the Poonawallas, but none of them, to the best of my knowledge, run idli shops. If anyone was running an idli shop, then he would be defamed. But otherwise, saying that saying that they make horrible idlis is not defamation. That's a further lawyer's refinement, Anand. So So the point is that as far as defamation was concerned, a 2-year sentence was unwarranted. The Supreme Court has given enough of an indication. The sessions appeal will take whatever time it takes to be heard. For the moment, there is no disqualification of Rahul Gandhi. He is, as of this moment, qualified. And I don't see why people should suspect the speaker. All that the speaker does is a ministerial act. The notification has to come. It will come soon. And I don't think the speaker will want to take on the Supreme Court. The last time it was a High Court, it took about 20 days. The moment the Supreme Court started looking into it, the speaker, the notification came. So for the moment, if you look at it in binary, then today has been a good day for the Congress in court. It's not been a very good day for Mr. Purnesh Modi. And the last point I want to make is, from now on, I will be very careful in defamation law. I will address the Honorable Nirav Modi, the Right Honorable Lalit Modi, and every other honorable person. The Modis are all honorable men. So they are all honorable.
All right. As far as the observations about judgments coming from a state are concerned, they have not found their way in the written order. Having been said that, I want to go across to Suhail Seth. Suhail Seth, politically, of course, now everyone will try to score brownie points. Of course, the Congress party is #1 in doing that today, since, like Mr. Hegde said, it has been a good day for them. How do you see this now impacting I.N.D.I.A? Because Rahul Gandhi is being projected by the Congress party as, brand ambassador of democracy, and it is because of him that the democracy and truth has come out today in the Supreme Court. Do you think the next step is now going to be about projecting him rightfully as the prime ministerial candidate?
No, you've got two people on your panel whose leaders respectively are great prime ministerial candidates, Mr. Stalin and Miss Banerjee. I don't think they're going to yield so easily to Mr. Gandhi, I mean, in this case, Rahul Gandhi, number one. Number two, I think what Saleem opened the debate with was very important. You know, for me today, it's a great vindication that India's democracy is fine and running stable. The same democracy that Mr. Gandhi in his outpourings abroad had alluded to, saying it's dying. You know, when one of the pillars, in this case, the judiciary, is independent, as we have seen, as Mr. Hegde rightly pointed out, in this case, there's also been a rap on the knuckles for the lower courts. So the one argument that has been won today has been won by the people of India, and I don't use the full stops within the alphabets. We are living in a great democracy where the judiciary is independent and can pass strictures or orders as they deem fit within the purview of the law. That's number one. Number two, of course, it is an optical victory for the Congress. You see, it's very much like what we used to do in Calcutta, and Mr. Dev will bear allegiance to that. It's like Operation Successful and Patient Dead. Kashta hocche, mane kete jacche, rokto beroche na, which means I'm being cut in the neck, but there's no blood flowing. The conviction still has to be decided at the lower courts. So that is still a Damocles sword hanging. I think what Mr. Hegde referred to, and I would be very, very upset if the speaker took his time in, you know, normalizing the return of Mr. Gandhi to Parliament. I think it is only in the fitness of things that we behave in a manner that is not only seen to be just, but is actually just. As for Anand's comments on, you know, they won back their star campaigner, well, yes and no, because, you know, he is going to be a prickly issue in Parliament. And God forbid, if there is a second hug coming up, because that's what happened in the last no confidence motion, then you really need to worry, because this time the beard will itch. But on a more serious note, Swati, I genuinely believe whatever happened, and I personally as an individual felt that particular order was too harsh.
Okay.
We have seen the debasement of politics in India. People have been calling each other names far worse than what Mr. Gandhi said. That is no justification. Someone took Mr. Gandhi to court, as is his right. But I think this is a lesson for all of us, taught by no less than the Supreme Court, that with public figures comes public responsibility.
Okay.
When you're a public figure, there's a certain behavior and a decorum that you need to observe. And I think that is sagacious, that's wise, and it's timely as we proceed towards the next Lok Sabha elections. Today, it's a win-win for all.
What has happened to Rahul Gandhi is too harsh. Another allegation coming in that the government acted in a vindictive manner. What happened to him was unprecedented, and the BJP was rattled by the growing stature of Rahul Gandhi. And now the BJP is rattled even more, because if the reinstatement happens immediately, he'll be back in the parliament when the Manipur issue is discussed.
First of all, the only two sets of people who are rattled are those within the Congress who are praying hard for this disqualification, perhaps because they owe their allegiance to Priyanka Vadra. And the second are those who are part of the I.N.D.A. alliance, who are now saying कि एक और contender आ गया 2024 के leader of opposition post के लिए, because वैसे भी prime minister post तो खाली है नहीं, अब LOP के position में एक और झगड़ा करने के लिए आ गया. So these are the two sets of people who are actually upset. Now, as far as whether it is harsh or not, how many times has a person who's a multiple time MP used this kind of language disparagingly against people like Savarkar and then the entire Modi community, the OBC community? So harshest punishment for the most exceptional case. And see, Anand is a very good friend of mine, but Anand's reading is slightly wrong, and Sanjay Hegde corrected him. Anand, group defamation nahi hota, you're right. So if I were to say all politicians are corrupt, no politician can get up and start suing. But if I were to say that Poonawallas are corrupt, then any of the Poonawallas who feel aggrieved by that can actually sue you. And therefore, in my understanding of the law, the person who is part of that group who has felt aggrieved has the right to go there. Now the court has convicted Rahul Gandhi. Now you can't sit in judgment of the court, but whether Congress respects the court, Tehseen said we respect and we disagree with the lower court. One of the Congress leaders wanted to chop off the tongue of the lower court judge. Is this respecting the judiciary? And now what they're saying, democracy has won. Imagine after India is Indira, today democracy has won because one member of the family has got stay on conviction. This is their arrogance, and therefore I tell them that they should now, it's not the BJP who's worried are within the I.N.D.A. alliance and within the Congress itself.
So we'll take responses from those who are part of the India alliance. Since you mentioned the word exceptional, Justice Gavai told Mr. Singhvi that you have to make an exceptional case for a stay of conviction, and the fact that a stay of conviction has happened, which means, of course, translates into that an exceptional case was presented by Mr. Singhvi. Now, quick rebuttals from Mr. Dharnidharan, then Tehseen Poonawalla, then Mr. Deb. Let's go by that order.
See, on March 1st, on our leader's birthday, M.K. Stalin, he has clearly said that it's very important who does not become the Prime Minister of this country. That is the stand of DMK, and on this stand, only the alliance has been formed. Now BJP is paranoid, and that's why BJP
but are you okay if Rahul Gandhi is projected as the Prime Ministerial candidate?
The coalition is very clear. That's what I'm saying. As far as DMK is concerned, we do not care on who becomes the Prime Minister, but we are worried about who should not become the Prime Minister, because if this person becomes the Prime Minister again, the pluralistic ethos of this country will be destroyed, democracy in the country will be destroyed, because BJP does not believe that an opposition should exist. They believe in one nation, one religion, one party, one food, one culture, etc., etc. They believe in oneness, and we are fighting against this oneness. And let's not beat around the bush. The 2-year verdict was unnecessary, and it was only given because they wanted to stop Rahul Gandhi from speaking in the parliament, because he was voice of 1.3 crore people, 130 crore people. They wanted his voice not to erupt in the parliament. That's all. They were paranoid of Rahul Gandhi. They are paranoid of, now they are paranoid of the India collusion.
Okay, Mr. Poonawalla, Tehseen Poonawalla is agreeing with you. Go ahead.
Let me destroy each allegation made by the worthy BJP Poonawalla. He said one more contender for Prime Minister, except he forgets for the past 30 years, no member of the Gandhi family has become Prime Minister. I'm coming to LOP, so don't interrupt me.
I didn't say PM. I said LOP.
Swati, I request you.
But I said LOP technically.
I'm coming to LOP because leader of I.N.D.A. No member of the Gandhi family has become Prime Minister. And if they want to become, and if they want to become leader in the party today, the biggest party in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi could have easily become and not made Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. He never did that. They are not hankering for posts as some people are doing. Now the second point, if the BJP spokesperson thinks Nirav Bhai Modi and Lalit Bhai Modi, who was helped by the government of Narendra Bhai Modi to escape from this country, Lalit Bhai Modi without a passport or a transit passport, are OBC. I think this is the biggest insult to the OBC citizens, because when the same BJP spokesperson was on Times Now, you may play those videos or ask your producers to play, he said this is an insult to the OBC community, and neither Nirav Bhai Modi or Lalit Bhai Modi are OBC citizens. So they even misrepresented that. Now please, and Puranesh Modi's actual surname was not even Modi, it was Modi. And let's not even go into what the defamation is. That has been corrected by Sanjay Hegde and the Honorable Supreme Court. Right. Now let's go into the next part of this. The fact of the matter is, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. On Monday, can the Honorable Speaker allow Rahul Gandhi back? That is the proof. If not, it will show that they don't want Rahul Gandhi ji in Parliament, because when Rahul Gandhi ji spoke in Parliament, his entire speech was entire speech. And he asked 4 questions. I'm not getting into the questions. The answer to those questions by the Honorable Prime Minister was, why is your surname Gandhi, not Nehru? He didn't answer one question. The Honorable Prime Minister cannot answer the pointed questions of Rahul Gandhi. Right. Ambedkar's constitution tells us that elected MPs choose their Prime Minister. Neither Mr. Modi's name is on the EVM, neither Mr. Gandhi's name, neither Mr. Stalin's name, neither Mamata Banerjee's. It is the party, and the party MPs, in this case the I.N.D.I.A MPs, will decide who their Prime Minister is.
Okay, now Mr. Deb, Mallikarjun Kharge said we are not after, posts here. We are only coming together, and he spoke specifically about the Congress party, that we are here with other parties to save democracy, to save constitution. We are not after any post or power. But that was when Rahul Gandhi was still disqualified. Now that the stay of conviction has been ordered by the Supreme Court, do you think it is going to be Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi in 2024, and will that be acceptable to your party?
All the 26 parties in the India alliance has made it very clear, including our leader Mamata Banerjee of All India Trinamool Congress, that the leadership issue will be decided post-poll. It is not a matter to be decided now. And we are only on one agenda, that this government should be voted out of power. If we want to save democracy, if we want to save the constitution, if we want to save the motherland, We have to see, we have to ensure, the people of India has to ensure that this particular government led by Mr. Narendra Modi is voted out of power. And that is exactly what the people of India will do. Now, coming to the second point, regarding the defamation, you will remember that in 2021, during the assembly election, Mr. Narendra Modi came to West Bengal several times, and the way he ridiculed Mamata Banerjee, the way he said, Didi, oh Didi, if you can remember, the way Mamata Banerjee was ridiculed by the Prime Minister, is it expected from the Prime Minister? Is it not a defamation? Is it not a defamation? And they are talking about defamation now? Is it a case of defamation? It was not at all a case of defamation, because if it is a case of defamation, it has to be against a particular individual. It cannot be against a particular group. So the entire case will fail on merits also when the matter will be adjudicated in the lower court.
Okay, all right. Mr. Dev, since I asked you a question on whether the TMC would be okay with the Rahul Gandhi versus Modi, and you said that, you know, we've decided that we'll talk about it post the elections. You have to have a face, right? I'm just talking about personalities.
You don't have to have a face. I'm very worried for Biswajit.
But people already have started projecting their leaders as prime ministerial candidates.
But on the EVM,
so I am not absolutely wrong in saying that can it be Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi. Mr. Dev, you said that the TMC will decide on it later along with other parties. But
you segregate the debate. You segregate the debate when you have the two Poonawala brothers. They're so articulate. You have half a program for them and then leave the other half for us.
Okay, Mr. Dev, the TMC wasn't very happy with the projection of Rahul Gandhi as the PM face, and Dr. Santanu Sen of the TMC said Congress could be high on their Bharat Jodo fervor, but they should first unite their own party. So that is already a position taken by somebody in your party.
Let me tell you, Swati, I'm worried for Biswajit. I'm really worried for Biswajit tonight. He hasn't mentioned Mamata Banerjee as the prime ministerial candidate. I really worry for him. I really worry for him. He's a good man, good human being. He's getting trapped on your program.
Mamata Banerjee has also categorically absolutely made it clear that this will be decided after the elections.
But will Mamata Banerjee be a good prime minister?
It is.
Biswajit, answer one question.
After this government,
the nation wants to know. Will you want Mamata Banerjee as prime minister?
Don't try to just mislead the viewers like this.
No, I'm asking you.
Very clear. She has made it very clear that a leadership issue. That no, it is what Mamata Banerjee has said. That is what I am saying. It is my leader. What she has said, and that is exactly what I am saying. That the leadership issue will be decided.
So let's say Mr. Dev has decided to not fall into that trap. Let me go across to Dr. Ranganathan. He wants to come in.
No, very briefly, just a couple of points because time is very limited. Number one, we had the erudite DMK spokesperson saying that on no condition should Modi return as prime minister because under him, democracy would be destroyed. Arey bhai, how ironical. For the last 9 years, he is the prime minister, and today, after the Supreme Court judgment, you are hailing the democracy in India. So during his prime ministership, you are hailing democracy and the democratic setup of India, but you say if he returns as prime minister, he will destroy democracy. 9 saal tak kya kar rahe the? Papad bel rahe the. Number two, what I really love about both Poonawalas is their frankness, and especially goes for Tehseen. So I am asking him two questions. I hope he'll be as frank as he always is. Number one, Tehseen, do you agree with the Congress person who said that democracy is dead in Bengal? And do you agree with the Congress when it lambasted the DMK for Mr. Stalin felicitating the killer of Rajiv Gandhi? Two questions. Please answer.
Of course there are contradictions. There are contradictions like there was Chakki piecing of Ajit Pawar and Mr. Modi saying that he's 70,000 crores. 1 second. Now don't interrupt me. Hold on.
Is it what about me?
Anand. You said you allow me to be frank. Now you're interrupting me. That doesn't behove you. Of course there are contradictions. No one on this panel is lying. The only people that are lying are BJP and the supporters. Of course there are contradictions. Who doesn't say there are contradictions? But despite this contradiction, for a larger cause of a larger good for our motherland, everyone has to come together because come 2024, it is I.N.D.I.A.
But Adhiranjan Chaudhary just said, that it is our majburi.
It's not majburi.
It is majburi. It is our majburi. हम मजबूरी में आ रहे हैं और पॉलिटिक्स में चलता है.
In the interest of Indian democracy, I believe nepotism is also creeping into our television channels. The Poonawalla family dominates television news every evening. I have only one question to ask. I have only one question to ask.
Go ahead.
Do Shehzad and Tehseen, after every show, go back home together? It's a very important question. It has a lot of ramifications.
No, we don't state it.
Okay, that clarification has come in. I want to go across to Mr. Hegde. I want to go across to Mr. Hegde.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, go ahead. If you have a question, go ahead. And then I'll go across to Mr. Hegde.
With all due respect to Mr. Hegde, I know he's been waiting his turn patiently.
Shehzad, just 1 second. The kind of responses that Tehseen has given me, I think it merits Sohail say telling him something in Punjabi.
It certainly does. But
ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਹੀਏ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵਖੇੜਾ ਆ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ
But on a more serious note, on a more serious note, on a more serious note, look, since they call themselves the acronym I.N.D.I.A, they don't call UPA UPA, they don't call INC Inc, but they call themselves India. I don't know why, but anyways, I am saying forget who's your chehra. I am saying let's talk about your charitra. And you said this is about protecting the nation. So protecting the nation would definitely involve Article 370, the abrogation of which is supported by Bharat and Real India. Now I ask you, what is your common position? Aam Aadmi Party says abrogation is right. You, Congress, says I will reimpose Article 370, and DM, yes, it did say that. Vijay Singh said it in front of a journalist. If I am wrong, you stop appearing. If you're right, I will stop appearing on television. We will also take care of the nepotism bit. Let's put your money where your mouth is. Let's put your money where your mouth is. Or let me complete. Now let me complete. I did not interrupt you. Secondly, then Vijay Singh should be thrown out. Now let me complete. I have not interrupted you. I have not spoken once between you. Secondly, IUML Youth Wing just now gave a blood-curdling, thirsty, genocidal call against the Hindus. Is that inclusive? Is that pro-India? No answer. The MMK, which is part of I.N.D.I.A alliance, made a poster linking Manipur violence to Prabhu Ram and Prabhu Lakshman and Ma Sita, thereby saying that the entire rape is done by Hindus. Are Hindus rapists? What is your position on this? Forget your PM position. You are anyways not going to get to a point of PM in 2024.
I.N.D.I.A leaders are saying we are ironing out our differences. Why is BJP so rattled? Why are you so worried?
Oh, they are ironing out their differences on Article 370. So what is the solution?
They will sort it out. Why is the BJP so interested?
No, because
I have to go across to Mr. Hegde and wrap up as well. Mr. Hegde, legally speaking, the conviction will be decided by the lower courts as a stay on conviction by the top court, and politically speaking, you heard what is being said. Respond, please, sir.
Well, legally is my response. There is a stay on conviction, and that stay will have its own impact when the matter is finally heard. Just to give you an example, just like all Modis are not alike, nor are all Poonawallas alike, or nor are all Hegdes alike. They are not a collection of individuals as are envisaged under the defamation law. Today, if you say Hegdes are like this, then can Mahesh Hegde, Pooja Hegde, or some other Hegde take it up? That's not the law. That simply is not the law. This was a wrong conviction. The sooner it is set aside, the better. But there is one message, the message of civility. If that goes from this order of the Supreme Court, if we see a much more civil debate in the next election, then we may or may not achieve a uniform civil code. But I do wish to have a uniform civility code among politicians.
All right. You know, as far as this round is concerned, stay on conviction given to Rahul Gandhi. Now, round 2 will be held in Janata's court. And with that, I'm wrapping up the debate, thanking all our guests except Tehseen Poonawalla, who will continue with us on debate number 2 as well.